Here for our monthly conversation with Mason County Sheriff Ryan Spurling, brought to us by our great friends at Our Community Credit Union. How are you?
Good, good. Good to see you, Jeff.
Got a list of things to talk about. First, so I just want to get some quick reaction. The governor signed that decertification bill into law.
Yeah.
You, as well as I saw Sheriff Sanders and many sheriffs across the state, really vocal against that. What happens next? Is a lawsuit coming, or what do you think?
I know that over in eastern Washington, a lawsuit will probably be levied this next week for the constitutionality of it, and they're asking for an injunction on it.
Okay.
There'll be other lawsuits. The Washington State Sheriff's Association will levy that lawsuit. And I want to make very clear again, it's not because we're afraid of qualifications. It's not because we're afraid of being held accountable. It's because they're taking away the normal constitutional rights of the citizens to choose and retain their elected officials. And if it happens with the sheriff, then next it could be the prosecutor. And there's a portion of the decertification bill that bothers us because in 2021, there was a modification to the bill, and it has a must decertify and a may decertify. I think everybody would agree with the must decertify. An officer commits a felony, and there's no problem being held to the same standards as our officers. People use that as a leverage tool. That's not the piece. It's any of those big crimes. Yeah, the officer should be taken out of that position. And we even asked and presented other options that are a little bit better thought out than what they passed, where it would expedite the recall process without violating the voters' rights to choose and retain their elected officials. It's the may decertify. In that may decertify, it says if any officer says, posts, makes gestures, or any indication that we perceive as discriminatory against all this huge list of things, that many of them are tied to politics.
Right.
So now effectively they control what sheriffs say, and if they don't like what sheriffs say, they can put them through the decertification process.
You know, I haven't seen on any sort of information or posts from the Mason County Sheriff's Office regarding you, and I know you don't want to speak for other sheriffs, but I did see on Thurston County, Sheriff Sanders did put a post that said, here's what went through, and in the last year or so, here's what I've been accused of. And there was about 4 things or so, and they kind of fell in line with some of those real kind of broad brush, hard to understand, hard to really put a fine point on.
Very subjective.
Very subjective is what I'm trying to say.
And it's an appointed board, appointed by the governor. This would be kind of like if the president of the United States appointed a board and said, if a governor says what I don't like, this board can remove them without the state's electorate being involved with it. And I know people don't understand that, and they think that we're just balking because we don't want to be held accountable. Every sheriff in the state is certified right now.
Yeah.
But the thing with this decertification and that may decertify, it's being weaponized right now against sheriffs during elections especially.
Sure.
Right? If somebody's running against them, well, I heard him say this one time. Now an investigation launches and it's weaponized.
Yeah.
That's not what the system's designed to do. And the Criminal Justice Training Center is designed to oversee training, not a regulatory board.
Well, we'll see what happens there as, like you said, the lawsuit will come out to check even just the constitutionality of this. Another big thing that happened this week, as we were talking, 911 call center got a lot of money from the 35th District representatives to help in the modernization and the move from the Civic Center to eventually the Port of Shelton. That's going to be great.
That is a big deal. Our community doesn't have the money to upgrade the system the way that we need to, no matter how much taxes we drew, really. It'd have to be astronomical. So getting a federal grant and getting money secured through that process is going to mean a tremendous amount to emergency services, to communication, and our ability to better serve the community. Now, a lot of people aren't aware, but MasCom is not part of the Sheriff's Office. It's not part of the PD. It's not part of the fire departments. It's a semi-governmental agency that's run by a board.
Yeah.
So none of us has full say, but we all have a voice on that board as to how it's run. And it'll really make a difference for our community, how we respond and how fast we respond, and the communication quality.
One of the things I think on your list here is to talk about more ways that you're trying to get community involvement. And we have, in Washington been ranked, what you say, 51st out of all the states plus DC when it comes to law enforcement and things like that. So you're having a hard time not only be in positions where you can do more proactive policing, but also having some of these coordinations with the different neighborhoods and neighborhood watch. You're looking at that, right?
Absolutely. There's also, I just went to the Hood Canal Improvement Club meeting with Chief Volk from the fire district down there. And we were talking about emergency preparedness, and they are developing basically neighborhood communication things for, you know, a big Cascadia earthquake comes through, who in your neighborhood has tools that you would need, who has a generator if you have to have a CPAP or something like that, or who has the access in snow if a major snow hits, so where you could get medicine, and you have to know your neighborhood. Well, we're now going to try to blend both that fire watch emergency with our neighborhood watch and watching crime, because if you know your neighbors, you communicate with your neighbors, you're the eyes and ears, and now that's extra information that really helps us. One of the lower areas in the county for crime is Alderbrook and Lakeland Village.
Okay.
And I ask people all the time, why do you think that is? Well, there's probably a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons is because there's a lot of retired people, and they are paying attention to what's going on. So crime will go to an area where it's easier, where they can do their crimes without being watched as much.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Walkers, lots of use on the golf course. People are out there all the time. That is interesting how that works.
And we need the community to keep this community safe. It's not us doing the job by ourselves. It's a partnership.
You mentioned Chief Volk. He is one of the recipients from the benefits of the Polar Plunge.
Yes, he is.
I missed it, but I heard it was a great one this year. You guys raised a lot of money.
It was super fun. They always are.
Yeah.
I love that event. Alderbrook does such a great job sponsoring it, providing clam chowder, hot chocolate, coffee, and the band is always there playing. It's super fun. And more people coming in teams. And you got like our community credit union having a team, and they challenged each other and they raised money. And I think it's the men's golf club up at Alderbrook Golf and Yacht Club, and the women's, they compete every year as to who can raise the most money. So it's a lot of fun.
And I think all told, all of the recipients, which would be like sheriff's office, fire department, the chaplain, the dive team, search and rescue, K9 even, they each got what, like $8,000 or something?
Well, we got a check out of that for over $8,000, and we'll divide it by 4, so a little over $2,000 for each of those. And then they gave to the fire department and Mason County Search and Rescue, separate from us, the same amounts. So they divided it up real good. And you know, we need to get more people involved in that Hood Canal Lions, because they're aging out. They're looking for people to come in and keep these type of community events going. So if there's anybody out there that's interested, lives in that area, we need younger people in those community groups.
Last month, we were here. Well, you and I weren't here because we were at Bruce Titus unveiling the Dare car. It's been out in the community now for a month, and I've seen pictures of it, stopping by all the great sponsors. How's the response been?
It's funny, I rode last Friday because we had to go up and get one of the antennas wasn't connected, and I needed to go up and give a presentation to one of the donors, which is Lear, the company that put the wrap on it. So I gave them a plaque. So I went up with Matt, and I rode in the passenger side, and we're on I-5. And people are holding their phones out, filming us. They're hitting each other. Look at this. They're slowing down to see it. It is quite the attention draw.
Great. Now you're causing all these distractions on the roadway.
Well, it looks like NASCAR
It does.
out there. It's beautiful. And we've just been asked by the Ridge Motorsports to be the fast car in Moto America.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So we're going to be on the track with that car. Matt's going to be doing all kinds of double duty with that car. But it's a true representation of when the community comes together to reach out to kids. Something that's important to us. There's enough things vying for their attention and their undivided attention. We need to be competing with that, and we're in the schools, and it's super good stuff. I
love it. Well, we got a group of people that want to hear from you as well, so we'll wrap this up. These conversations, of course, brought to you by our great friends at our Community Credit Union, who are one of the major sponsors of not only that Dare car, but the Sheriff's Office and law enforcement in general across all the counties that they have. Mason County Sheriff Ryan Sperling, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Good to see you.
Yep.